Um, oh, Deborah Van Cooven, she magically appears.
She's already in there. Okay.
What is with the ads? Oh.
All right. I guess everybody's coming up. I have to put something in Slack. Okay. All right. So there's I keep feeling like I know this girl. A teacher in South Carolina killed herself and her 2 kids. I can't believe, I will tell you guys something. When I go to a place like these water parks, and especially when I saw 2 guys that look like family annihilators that are well known, but it makes me think that, like, what the heck is going on? Like, which one of these people is going to flip out, right? Because I could have seen this lady at the water park. That on the screen. How are so many people that you might think seemingly normal are doing this? It's crazy. South Carolina woman and her 2 children were found fatally shot on Wednesday in what's being investigated as a double murder-suicide. Horry County police officers performing a welfare check at a California forest home have discovered the bodies of Laura Moberly, 42, Eric Moberly, 11, and Emily Moberly, 8. The mother was a reading loss interventionist at Carolina Forest Elementary School. Police report identified Laura as the suspect in the apparent murder-suicide. Investigators believe the shooting occurred before the welfare check. Okay. They reported that cops forced entry into the Moberly's home after no one answered the door. It's not immediately known who requested the welfare check that led to the grisly discovery. And I'm going to go over here to the Horry County Schools confirmed that Laura Moberly was hired by the district in 2018 and was listed as a reading loss interventionist at the school. Her daughter was in 3rd grade at the same school. Her son was in 7th grade at 10 Oaks Middle School. The district released this statement: "We are at a loss for words after learning of the tragic incident that affected the entire family with ties to Horry County Schools. We lift our strongest prayers for the Moberly family and for all who knew them. We encourage our community to keep our students and staff in their thoughts and prayers during this incredibly difficult time. Our district has a team of counselors made up of professionals trained to help with the needs of students, parents, and school personnel at difficult times such as this. Our counselors are available at the affected schools for any student or employee who may need or want assistance surrounding this tragedy." Is this? Okay. So that's, I wonder what, I'm trying to see, I wanted to look into this woman a little more, make sure that you guys can hear me. Unbelievable. And so say hi, Julie W. Yeah. Hi. Hey, Christy Holland. I was just thinking about you the other day. Hi, Christine Ferrari. Hi, Deborah Vancouver. And hi, Ruth Ann Smith. How are you? Rosalita, good to see you. Debbie D, GB. Everybody here. Eliza, Gail B. It's crazy, isn't it? But I want to find out if there's any more information about this woman. This is just crazy. I don't understand how this is saying a mother, her son, and daughter were found dead in their home on Centennial Circle in Myrtle Beach Wednesday afternoon. It's believed the three died of gunshot wounds at around 6 a.m. on Wednesday. Willard said that the Horry County Police were called to perform a welfare check on 42-year-old Laura Moberly and her children, 11-year-old Eric and 8-year-old Emily. When the police arrived at 1:45 p.m., they found all three deceased. Let's see. Michaela Moskov, a public information officer for the department, said, "What we can say at this point is that the incident remains under investigation. The statement addresses community inquiries related to the specific atypical loss of 2 children in our community and also acknowledges a total of 3 deceased." The department also noted that Horry County Fire Rescue, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, Child Fatality Unit, and the Horry County Coroner's Office are now working together to investigate and notify the next of kin, provide support to those in need. Our community is hurting today, and that is undeniable. We ask that you be kind to one another. You may not know who has been impacted by this tragedy. The investigation is ongoing, and at this time we do not believe that there is any threat to this community. Our thanks go to the public safety partners who assisted at the scene, provided aid for our teams, and continue to serve this community. So let's see if we can see anything about her, what her social media profile may be. Footprint. This is her Facebook, and this is public. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure my chats are closed. Close all chats. Okay. So her last post here, okay, and this is pretty well locked down profile. I don't know if it was locked down after or before because the posts are from 2020. But this is the picture that is being shown in some of the articles. Here's their dogs. And for all intents and purposes, it probably looks a lot like people you know. Friends you know, kind of the same kind of thing. That's what I mean about looking at the people in the water park and wondering just, what happens in someone's mind. Now, you can see there's a man here with her in 2017 and not afterwards, so probably divorced. But I don't know. Show stable she liked. A million ideas and products, a dude ranch, a saddle club. Looks like she was a 5-star farm. So very sad. Really sad. Here's the California Forest Elementary, the teacher next door, a healthy equestrian. And is this her last? This is July 1st. Let's see what they are getting so big. Hope you're doing well. She says, doing great. How was your first year teaching? It was wonderful. Are you still doing your monogram items? So she was also a crafter, it seems. She says, yes, I am doing embroidery. I haven't been doing as much embroidery as I would like to. I am teaching full-time. I would like to go back full-time with embroidery and travel to shows again. It was amazing. I miss seeing you and your hubby. How are you? So, yeah, very sad. What would cause someone to do that? To think that was their only choice. I don't know. It's very sad. Very sad. What dead at the East Village? And then an Indiana police officer that was shot during a traffic stop early this month was removed from life support Thursday morning. Richmond Mayor Dave Snow said Thursday afternoon that Sarah Boone was still with us. We know the time of her passing is imminent, he said. However, right now her family is spending precious time with her. Burton was only 28, and she was assisting other officers in a traffic stop of a moped on August 10th when her K-9 officer Brev indicated the presence of narcotics. The moped's driver's 47-year-old Philip M. Lee pulled out a handgun and opened fire, striking Burton. Lee took off running and was shot by other officers. He was captured after a brief chase and taken to the hospital for treatment and later arrested. Burton was to be married a few days after the shooting. Oh my gosh. Her fiancé, Sierra Neal, came to the hospital on what was to be their wedding day wearing her wedding dress. A video of her walk went viral on TikTok. This walk was supposed to look a lot different, but I will always be thankful we got to celebrate. She wrote in the caption, even if it's not on legal paper, you are my wife. I love you, Sierra. The Richmond Police Department said it will give an official update when it's available. Very sad. A 2-year-old New Jersey toddler was found dead in her mother's car and may have been left in the vehicle for hours. The incident happened in Franklin Township at around 2 p.m. Tuesday at a residence off of Summerall Road. The child, identified as a 2-year-old girl, was being given CPR by a firefighter neighbor when police arrived. EMS arrived at the scene and rushed the victim to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Authorities have notified the New Jersey Northern Regional Medical Examiner's Office, who will be responding to conduct the information. No further details will be released at this time, while investigators conduct their investigation, said Deputy Chief Frank Roman. Police knocked on the door after finding the child. Neighbors say they heard pain from the parents. The mother began sobbing outside while an officer embraced her and offered her comfort. One neighbor told the newspaper that they saw both parents crying and screaming as if they were unaware their daughter was left in the vehicle. I heard the dad start screaming uncontrollably, and I heard the mother really sobbing. They were just screaming in pain and anguish. She collapsed to the ground, and he went over to console her. It was gut-wrenching, almost made me want to break into tears. As a mother, just hearing that pain from another mother, it was very hurtful to hear. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Another neighbor couldn't understand how or why someone would forget a child in the car. How can that happen? How do you forget? I guess we're all forgetful. I've forgotten things in the car, but how do you forget the toddler, you know? I don't know, said neighbor Alex Krastavsky. The mother's vehicle has been towed from the home, and neighbors reported seeing police tape around the residence, and no one has been charged in connection to the child's death. Very, very sad. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is a horrible thing. A baggage loader at a Louisiana airport was reportedly killed on Wednesday. from injuries she sustained when her hair got tangled in a belt loader. Oh my gosh. Louis Armstrong, New Orleans International Airport officials said that the deadly accident involving Jermani Thompson, age 26, unfolded where planes are refueled, parked, boarded, and maintained. Thompson's employer, GAT Airline Ground Support, said she was offloading a Frontier jet that had landed when her hair became caught in a belt loader. I just can't believe it. You know, my only daughter is gone. I don't believe it. It's like she just told me, I'll see you when I come back. Right now, it is not exactly clear how Thompson died, as the Jefferson Parish Coroner's Office is expected to perform an autopsy in the coming days. She went to work one morning and she never made it home. Thompson's sister-in-law told the Advocate, this is just so unreal right now. Oh my gosh, they say she got scalped. That is so horrible. Washington authorities are searching for a Thurston County teen who disappeared under suspicious circumstances this week. Thurston County Sheriff's Office reported that 17-year-old Gabriel Davies disappeared at around 4 p.m. Wednesday after leaving his Olympia home for football practice, and he had never arrived for practice, which was being held at the Olympia High School. The teen was reportedly spotted walking alone, at around 5:50 p.m. in the 15,000 block of Tilley Road South on Wednesday. Police later found his car abandoned in the 16,000 block of the same road. If you have information, call dispatch 360-704-2740. General information can be provided at detectives at co.thurston.wa.us. Let's see what they say. There's a lot of comments on here saying stuff about other boys just disappearing, and it's really sad. Hopefully he's found alive and well. That's very sad. A 27-year-old Missouri man has been charged with murder after allegedly shooting his wife several times in the face at close range. The court documents state that Henry County prosecutors say Ryan Wayne Alexander called 911 at about 6:15 p.m. on Sunday, saying that he shot his wife, Ashton Christine Alexander. Audio from the neighbor surveillance video indicated shots were fired around 5 p.m., more than an hour before he called 911. Officers found the wife's body inside the front door of the Clinton, Missouri home with at least 7 gunshot wounds to her face and gunpowder burns. Additionally, they found damage to a metal vent and an air duct that were beneath her head, which indicated she was shot at least once while lying on her back. Investigators found 4 shell casings around the body and 5 more in a kitchen trash can. counting for all of the rounds in a 9mm Smith & Wesson semi-automatic pistol used in the shooting. A witness reportedly told police that Alexandra left the house before the shooting and drove off like a bat out of hell, like they'd been fighting. He wasn't gone long, however, and the neighbor told investigators that he heard gunshots shortly after seeing him go back inside. A detective said that Alexander had a strong odor of alcohol on his breath during an interview, but that he refused both a field sobriety test and a breath test. He also refused to answer questions without an attorney present. Alexander has been charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal act, and he's been held without bond. 10-year-old Michigan girl who was found dead on Tuesday, hours after her reported disappearance, was reportedly killed by her older stepbrother. Jamion Peterson, 14, was arraigned in Saginaw County on Wednesday on charges of first-degree and second-degree murder. Peterson, who is charged as an adult, is believed to have killed his stepsister, Namila Turner Moore, who vanished from a house owned by the Petersons' father before she was found dead in an abandoned lot. Court records indicated that Peterson's father lived somewhere else in the city. Saginaw County Chief Assistant Prosecutor Blair Stevenson said that on Tuesday, Peterson's father called Turner Moore's father to ask if she was at his nearby home. Turner Moore's father stated that she was not before calling 911 to report her daughter's disappearance. Turner Moore's cause of death is unclear as an autopsy is pending. Peterson remains jailed without bail. That's just great, 14-year-old. Okay, so let's see. This woman, let's see what she is. Caroline Lee, who has spent nearly 8 years at Darnell Cookman Middle High School teaching 9th grade English, had just been named the school's Teacher of the Year last October when the unthinkable happened. She was accused of striking a student, something she adamantly denied doing. She says she has dedicated her career to teaching and serving local youth with out-of-pocket trips to the theater, ice cream parties, and more. She said she had never struck a child and never would. That's why she was shocked when she felt a rush by school officials to put blame on her. Lee said the process school administrators and police officers took that day and beyond was one-sided and unfair. Last week, the state attorney's office said the case lacked evidence and dropped the charge. On paper, her name has been cleared, but the damage has been done. Lee said in an interview with the Times Union she's speaking out in hopes other teachers are better protected than she was. Situations arise when a student may be crying wolf. A Friday morning in late October, Lee said she called an 8th grade student to her room to speak about the negative comments the student made against her on Instagram. It was her planning period, which she usually spends in an unofficial capacity, counselor capacity, calling students individually to her room to go over grades, college admission essays, and other things. It's my time to have them on their own so they won't be embarrassed. She added that she opted to act independently, not reporting the student's Instagram post to school administrators because the last time she reported a different student making threats, school officials placed that student in her class a week later. I wanted to avoid a repeat situation. She said she wanted the conversation to be a teachable moment. She said she told the student that she shouldn't make dangerous posts on social media. She told her not to be a bully, but the student did not engage. Her mask was up. She didn't say a word to me. Her head was down. I figured maybe no one had ever taken the time to correct her. There was a table between the two of them when Lee spoke. Both the teacher and student agreed. I'm an athlete. Hold on. I walk fast everywhere. Some of my students who saw that detail told me, Miss Lee, they just don't know you. Factors like Lee's Teacher of the Year title, which the school quietly revoked in light of the student's claims, elevated the story of her arrest to national news. One detail from the police report noted that Lee walked aggressively with the student back to her classroom. And that's when she said, I'm an athlete. That's how I walk. After the student reported to school officials that Lee had hit her, Lee said she was unfairly kept in the dark. She said an assistant principal called her to their office and left her there. I spent the whole day sitting in the assistant principal's office not knowing what was going on. No food, no drink, no bathroom. One student brought me my phone, which I thought was sweet. She claims that the Jacksonville sheriff's officer who interviewed her put words in her mouth and made her sign forms without explanation. They showed Lee a picture of a student's face with a bloody nose, but Lee said she had never seen that student without a mask on. Her lawyers suggest that before seeing Lee, the student may have used fake blood or already been injured but was hiding the wound beneath her mask. Maybe she went to the bathroom and set something up, Lee said. It was also Halloween weekend, so kids had funny things, fake blood, fake scars, all sorts of things. From there, Lee describes being handcuffed and brought to the local jail where she spent the night. It was the Sabbath, and Lee is an observant Jewish woman. She couldn't eat the ham sandwich she was provided at the prison. Pork is not kosher, where she was charged $26 for it. Her husband picked her up the following day after Sabbath was over. I was in total shock and denial. One of the main reasons I want to speak out is because I'm terrified that other teachers will be treated the way that I was. There comes a time when we have to say enough is enough. My administration did not protect me. My other teachers did, but were told to be quiet. The student went on to begin 9th grade, and I'm not allowed to return. Last week, the state attorney's office published a memo that said there was not enough evidence to prosecute Lee and that the child abuse charge was being dropped. The case ended up taking months to address. All the while, Lee was on paid reassignment by the school district at its warehouse, Bulls Bay, with no actual work to do. The teacher spent her days going on runs. I just sat there. That was wasteful. She said I would go on massive runs, 10 to 15 miles. As part of the state's agreement, Lee is now allowed to return to teaching. Her record's clean. There's no disciplinary marks on the teaching certificate, but she cannot return to Darnell Cookman. She wants to know why. I've had the most wonderful career at Darnell Cookman. I love those students. I don't think the principal, who has since left the school, knew how to deal with this. I'm not pointing fingers, but the system is broken. The student who made the claims against Lee is a minor, and her information has been withheld and redacted since the initial police report was published last October. Lee and the state attorney's office said the student is much larger than Lee, making it difficult for her to strike the child. Also, Lee said the issue of race has been brought up. She says both she and the student are white, adding that there is no racial element. I'm not pointing fingers, but the system is broken. Lee said the student led a troubled life. Hang on one second. Lee also said the student had a troubled past, and the state's attorneys said the student had a disciplinary record for fighting. The newspaper was unable independently to verify the student's disciplinary history because of privacy laws, but Lee said that the student's record and the fact that she was unaware of it until the incident is another sign of administrative failure. If I would have known the history of the student, I would have never had her in a room alone with me, she said. As teachers, we need to know those details. Our administrators have to protect us so we tread correctly with our students. The Duval County Public Schools officials declined to comment for this story, citing an active and open internal investigation. Lee said administrators should have looked more at her past. She said that one of her main frustrations was the way things unfolded, in that 200 of her students were left without their English teacher for the entire school year since the process became so drawn out. Okay, that's quite some story. A 4-year-old took a loaded gun into school in Texas. 30-year-old Texas father was arrested Wednesday after his 4-year-old child brought a loaded handgun to school. An off-duty officer working as security at John F. Kennedy Elementary School notified the department at 9:15 a.m. and requested assistance. The off-duty officer took possession and secured the weapon. Investigators identified the student's parents as the owners of the gun and arrested Paul Torres, charging him with making a firearm accessible to a child and abandoning or endangering a child. The school was briefly put on lockdown for the investigation. This was the third time in as many weeks that students have brought weapons to the Corpus Christi area schools. West OSO School District shared information about the incident, which said it was isolated in a letter and robotext Wednesday morning. Oh, that's crazy. A Michigan man was arrested and charged Wednesday with a double homicide and sexual assault on an Orlando area RV campground not far from Disney World. The Lake County Sheriff's Office in Florida said they were called to the Thousand Trails Orlando RV Resort at about 2 p.m. on Wednesday by a woman who said she witnessed Justin Lamar Jones, 41, kill his stepson that morning. The woman said he tied her up and sexually battered her until she was able to escape to a neighbor's to call police. Detectives found Jones's SUV in a nearby Publix parking lot. When they approached, the suspect ran, but he was quickly caught and taken into custody. He has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, battery, and kidnapping. That's crazy. But you know what? I can't keep my eyes open anymore. I got to go to sleep. So I'm going to leave you guys to the Zoom. I'm going to just close out of here. Thank you guys very much for being in the sale, being in everything. But I have to go to sleep. Hi, Ruthless. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Good night.
Good night, Sharon. And everybody, if you're a member, you can come, into the Zoom with us. All right, Patreons too. All right, guys. See you later. See you tomorrow. Be good. Love and prayers.
Night.